I told you that some of the healthiest, most active people in the world are in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s, would you believe me? You might think, well, sure, there are exceptions everywhere, but what if I told you that in Japan, especially in places like Okinawa, it's not the exception, it's actually pretty common. These men and women live long, vibrant lives, many crossing the age of 100, still able to garden, cook, walk to the market, and even play with their great-grandchildren. Now here's the interesting part. One of their secrets isn't some fancy supplement, or the latest gym equipment, or even hours of exercise every day. Instead, the first key movement Japanese elders practice daily is the deep squat. And while it might sound simple on the surface, it carries an incredible amount of power when it comes to keeping the body strong and youthful even as the years go by. Think about what happens when you lower yourself into a squat chair engaging multiple large muscle groups at the same time. Your thighs activate to support your descent. Your glutes power up to stabilize your posture. Your hips open and stretch. And your knees work in harmony with the rest of your legs to guide you smoothly into position. At the same time, your core muscles tighten to keep your balance, and your ankles flex to maintain stability. It's one of the most natural full-body movements humans were designed to perform, and that's exactly why it's so beneficial. In Japan, it's not uncommon to see elders squatting to rest, to garden, or even while cooking and preparing meals. This habit, repeated over decades, trains their bodies to remain functional, strong, and resilient, preventing the weakness and stiffness so many people associate with aging. Asterisk for someone over 50. Squatting is more than just an exercise, it's a rehearsal for daily life. Every time you sit down on a chair or get up from one, you're mimicking a squat pattern. When you bend down to pick up a box, tie your shoes, or lower yourself to hug a child, you're essentially performing a variation of the squat. If this movement feels easy, life feels easier. But if this movement is painful or difficult, everyday activities begin to feel like struggles. That's why Japanese elders value it so much. It preserves independence. They don't need to rely on others to help them stand. They don't fear the process of getting up and down. And they maintain a sense of dignity and self-sufficiency well into old age. Asterisk, of course. For many people, especially those unaccustomed to squatting, the idea of sinking low toward the ground can feel intimidating. Maybe the knees ache, maybe the hips feel tight, or maybe balance feels uncertain. But here's the beauty of it. You don't have to perform a perfect squat right away. Japanese elders didn't achieve this overnight. They built it gradually over time. You can start with a supported squat, using the back of a chair, the edge of a table, or even holding onto a railing for balance. Lower yourself slowly, only going as far as feels comfortable, then rise back up with control. Over time, as your strength grows and your joints loosen, you'll naturally be able to go lower. Even partial squats where you lower only a small distance are incredibly beneficial. Each repetition conditions your muscles, improves your joint stability, and boosts your circulation. Asterisk, another fascinating thing about squatting is how it affects bone density. After 50, bones naturally become more fragile, but weight-bearing exercises like squats signal the body to keep bones strong. Every time you press through your legs to rise up, you're not only training your muscles, you're also strengthening your skeleton. This means fewer risks of fractures, better posture, and greater resilience against falls. And let's not forget the role of squats in balance. When you lower yourself down, your brain and body are coordinating countless small adjustments to keep you steady. That constant micro-adjustment is like training for your nervous system, keeping your reflexes sharp and your coordination intact. Asterisk, Japanese elders prove this point every day. Their ability to maintain the deep squat into their 70s, 80s, and even beyond isn't about genetics alone, it's about practice. By doing this movement regularly, they preserve what so many others lose with age: mobility, strength, and confidence in their bodies. It's a simple act, but its benefits ripple through nearly every aspect of daily living, from the ease of movement to the prevention of injury, and it all begins with the decision to squat, however small, however supported, and to repeat it often enough that it becomes second nature. The second movement Japanese elders naturally practice every day is the act of sitting down on the floor and standing back up again. Something that might look ordinary at first glance, but is, in reality, one of the most powerful ways to keep the body strong, flexible, and capable throughout life. In many Japanese households, traditional tatami mats and low tables are still common. which means people spend a good portion of their day either kneeling, sitting cross-legged, or simply resting close to the ground. Unlike the Western habit of sitting in chairs for long hours, this practice gently forces the body to bend, flex, twist, and engage multiple muscle groups every time someone lowers themselves to the floor or rises back to their feet. It's not a workout in the conventional sense, but it is a highly functional, full-body training routine built into everyday living. And it is one of the reasons Japanese elders retain such mobility well into their later years. Asterisk, when you think about the action of sitting down and standing back up, you realize it is far from simple. To lower yourself safely, your core must engage. Your hips need to flex, your thighs and glutes must control your descent, and your balance has to remain steady so you don't fall. Then, when you rise again, the legs push strongly, the core stabilizes, and your coordination kicks in to keep the whole process smooth. It's a symphony of movement between muscles, joints, and nerves that trains the body in strength, flexibility, and balance simultaneously. Over decades of daily practice, this movement develops into an insurance policy against stiffness and weakness. It means the body knows how to respond when life requires bending down to pick something off the floor, kneeling in the garden, or even recovering from an accidental stumble. Asterisk, there's also scientific evidence showing just how powerful this habit is. Studies have tested what's called the sit-to-stand test, where participants are asked to sit on the floor and stand back up without using their hands. The results are striking. Those who can perform the action smoothly are statistically more likely to live longer, healthier lives than those who struggle. Why? Because this movement is a direct reflection of muscle strength, joint health, flexibility, and balance, all critical factors for longevity. It's not about looking fit, it's about being capable. And that's exactly what Japanese elders demonstrate when they gracefully move to and from the floor, even in their 70s or 80s. Asterisk, for someone over 50 who may feel stiff or hesitant, this can feel like a real challenge. But just like squats, you don't have to begin perfectly. You can start with small steps. Maybe you use a yoga mat and practice lowering yourself slowly onto your side before sitting fully. Maybe you support yourself with your hands as you rise back up. Over time, these efforts become easier as your muscles strengthen and your joints regain range of motion. The act of practicing alone helps retrain your body to stay mobile. Even if you don't achieve a cross-legged floor, sit right away. What matters most is consistency, because each attempt builds resilience and confidence. Asterisk, another hidden benefit of floor sitting is posture. When you sit cross-legged or kneel, your spine naturally works to stay upright, which encourages a stronger back and better alignment. Contrast this with the way we often slouch in chairs, letting our posture collapse. Over years, the floor-sitting habit contributes to healthier spines and fewer back problems. And because sitting on the floor often means changing positions, cross-legged, kneeling, side-sitting, the joints are constantly moving in small ways that prevent stiffness. Add to that the mental aspect. Practicing this movement gives a person confidence that their body is still capable, which has a powerful effect on overall well-being. Asterisk, Japanese elders. Without thinking of it as exercise, practice this day after day. The constant repetition keeps their bodies trained to handle the demands of real life, and it gives them independence that many people lose as they age. The ability to sit down on the floor and rise back up isn't just about mobility, it's about freedom. The third movement Japanese elders embrace every day is walking, but not in the way we usually think about it, as a form of scheduled exercise. In their culture, walking is seamlessly integrated into daily living. They walk to the market, they walk to visit neighbors, they walk to tend to their gardens, and they walk simply for the pleasure of being outside. Unlike the rushed and often stressful pace of walking many people adopt in urban environments, Japanese elders practice walking as a mindful, relaxed, and purposeful act. Each step is steady and intentional, and because their terrain often varies whether it's stone paths, sloped roads, or grassy fields, their bodies are constantly challenged to adjust, which strengthens the ankles, legs, and core without ever feeling like a workout. This is one of the reasons their mobility and balance remain strong even into their later decades of life. Asterisk, walking may seem ordinary, but its impact on health is extraordinary. It's one of the most natural and low-impact forms of movement the human body was designed for, and it influences nearly every system in the body. For the cardiovascular system, walking improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and strengthens the heart muscle. For the musculoskeletal system, it keeps the joints lubricated, enhances bone density, and tones the muscles of the legs and hips. For the nervous system, it boosts coordination and keeps reflexes sharp. And for the mind, walking outdoors stimulates relaxation, reduces stress, and even lowers the risk of depression and cognitive decline. In Japan, elders often combine walking with social interaction, whether it's chatting with friends, greeting neighbors, or joining group walks. This social dimension adds another layer of benefit by nurturing emotional well-being and a sense of community, both of which are vital for healthy aging. Asterisk, when someone over 50 commits to walking daily, even if it's just 20 minutes, the transformation is noticeable. Energy levels rise, endurance improves, and stiffness fades away as the body becomes more accustomed to gentle movement. What makes Japanese walking habits particularly effective is the terrain. They don't always walk on perfectly flat sidewalks. They often navigate gentle slopes, uneven ground, and natural paths. This variety challenges the body to stabilize itself, strengthening small muscles in the feet and ankles that are often neglected. These micro-adjustments protect against falls and make balance more reliable. For elders, this is crucial, because one of the greatest risks to independence is losing balance and suffering an injury. By walking daily in natural environments, Japanese elders are essentially training their bodies to remain resilient without ever stepping into a gym. Another unique aspect of their walking culture is the pace. It's not a hurried activity to check off a list, but rather a mindful, enjoyable practice. This slower pace reduces stress hormones and allows the body to breathe deeply and relax, coupled with fresh air and often surrounded by nature. Walking becomes more than movement, it becomes a form of moving meditation. Science supports this, showing that walking outdoors can improve mood, sharpen focus, and even stimulate creativity. For someone over 50, these mental and emotional benefits are just as important as the physical ones. Asterisk, what stands out most about